right, senior Olivia Garcia is going to present her senior projects.
So in case you missed it, my name is Olivia Garcia. I am a senior at Pacifica. And I'm really excited to share my senior project with you guys. It's something that I've wanted to do since I was born. And I finally got the opportunity to start that process. So I'm really excited to show you guys what I did. So basically, my senior project was to write and record a demonstration album, which is also known as a demo. A demo is a sample recording of what an artist can do, musical or painting or anything like that. Usually, songs take weeks to record and then more weeks to mix. And I recorded and mixed 4 songs in 13 hours. So, kind of rough. It's not finished yet. I'm still going to work on it. So what I'm going to show you guys today is what I have so far. I'm going to walk you guys through the process of one song that I wrote. So I'm going to show you guys kind of how I wrote it, what the inspiration was, and then I'm going to walk you through the recording process of it as well. So the song that I chose was No Words. I wrote this song at 2 o'clock in the morning on a Thursday night, technically Friday morning. I was finishing up another song that I had for the project, and this completely new and different melody came into my head. And that's the most frustrating thing ever for me because I'm trying to finish one project and something else comes in and I can't combine them because they don't sound anything like each other. So I took a break from one of the songs that I was writing before, and I tried to find a chord progression that would fit the melody I had in my head. It took a while, a couple hours, and I came up with a melody for the first verse that I had written and the chorus. I'm going to reluctantly play you a sample. So basically, this is what I wrote at 3 o'clock in the morning, so be gracious. So that was the original chorus that I wrote for this song. What it turned into, the final thing, it's very different from what I ended with. Oh no, sorry, what I started with is very different with what I ended with. But that was just the chorus. I don't have enough time to play you the whole thing, but come see me after if you want to hear it. So after a few more hours, I might not have gotten sleep that night. I might have been up all night. Might have had a test the next day, but who cares? After a few hours, I completed the final melody, which is what you'll hear at the end of the day, and I completed most of the lyrics. I didn't have verse 2, and truth be told, I didn't write verse 2 till the day we recorded the instruments. So, songwriting is a process. I don't have a sample recording of what I did that night. So sorry. But, so after a couple of weeks, I had finished all of the 4 songs. I had finished the verses and the chorus and the melody for the whole thing, and I just started rehearsing a lot of rehearsing to make sure that I could get a good feel for the songs. And then my mentor, also my father, told me to write out some song sheets. So this is a song sheet for No Words. Song sheets are basically, they just have the chord progression on it, and it's something to kind of give the musicians to kind of follow along with the song. It's the very first official piece of paper for the song. So as you can see, this one's kind of very repetitive. It did change a little bit when we got to the studio because musicians have, it's part of the collaboration, they can kind of edit some stuff and it's super cool, it ends up sounding super awesome and I'm so glad that happened. So I wrote these out and then I wrote out the lyric sheets. So this is the lyrics for the song that I wrote for No Words. I kind of did these for my personal use, so I could have everything organized instead of having millions of papers under my bed and in my car and in my closet, because that's what my room looks like right now. So I just kept rehearsing after that. Rehearsal is a big part of performing. Again, get a feel for the song, know them well enough so that when I am in the studio, I'm not trying to fix anything last minute and screw up the vocals. I didn't want that. And then my dad and I recorded a very, very rough track to send to the musicians so they could hear the full thing and they could kind of get a feel for what they were going to do the day we recorded stuff. So I'm going to play you the chorus of that recording because that's all I'm going to show you. So don't judge. So that's what we sent to the musicians so that they could get a good feel for the song. And as you can see, the melody is different and the lyrics are a little bit different. It's like one kind of cohesive, it all kind of goes together. And after that, again, I rehearsed a lot of rehearsing. I got tired of the songs after like 2 weeks of singing them over and over again. I did not like them. So I kept rehearsing until we got to the studio, and then finally, that day arrived. It was after the senior day, so we didn't get home from the senior day till like 11:30, and I had to be at the studio at 11, and I had to be up earlier to get ready, so I got like 4 hours of sleep. So we recorded at this man named Mike McLean's house. He's an old friend of my dad's from back in the day. We got there on 11, we set up some equipment, I met the musicians, they were really awesome. They're not all in this photo, but Mike is the guy in the cool hat right there. He played acoustic guitar on the tracks, and basically produced this whole demo. And then Stan Pepik plays keys, he's the guy in the red hat. He was super funny, he made me laugh a lot. And then Jeff Berland, who's not in this photo unfortunately, was also super cool. He played electric guitar, so there's a few electric guitar solos in these songs. It was super awesome to work with these. They were all old, I'm just gonna say it, they were old. Sorry Dad, but they were. But it was really cool because they're all super experienced, and a lot of them have like the guy who played electric guitar is a 4th grade teacher at a school in Fullerton, and he was like rocking out on this guitar. It'd be like saying, it's like Balmer, I don't know where he is. It's like Balmer. And my dad, it's just super cool because they're all super experienced, and I learned so much from them, and it was just a fun time. I also got to work with Adam Ferry, I call him Uncle Adam, and my dad, so it was super cool to work with these two because they were both in this big rock band back in the olden days. And so continuing music with these two kind of feels like I'm participating in this legacy, and it was just super cool. So by the end of the session, we had multiple takes of each track. The more takes you have, the more times you record it, the more you have to choose from, and the more the musicians get comfortable. And the whole day was kind of a process. They were kind of rocking out on the corner and trying to fix some things, find some things that worked. They gave me tips. They're just really cool. So I'm going to show you what we have from that day. So I think this is just the chorus. So enjoy. focusing on the instrumental tracks, and I was going to go back a week later and do the vocals. So I'm glad that they were turned down because I was pushing a lot to project so that the musicians could hear and follow, and a lot of the notes were off, so I'm very glad that you couldn't hear them. So we called that a hut session because we recorded in this guy Mike's backyard in this home studio, and it was a hut, so it was the hut session. So clearly my voice was not the greatest, but I'm glad you couldn't hear it. So after a lot of hours in this studio, I had a few more days before I had to record the vocal tracks. So I rehearsed more. And I actually had my sister, Abby, rehearse with me because we were going to do harmonies. So she sang harmonies on the track. And then the day to record vocals came. This guy, his name is Ray Preston. We went to his house, we went to a different studio. He also has a home studio. And we went to his house to record the vocals. He was super cool, he was really fun. And he also mixed the tracks with my dad. So, singing in the studio was very different from performing live, which is what I usually do. It was weird. I could hear my voice a lot more than I could now. And my friend Ray would say that these mics are so powerful, you could hear a gnat fart. So I could hear, I was behind closed doors, and I could hear my family like commenting on what was happening in the studio, like where I was, and I could hear them because the mics were picking them up. It was so weird. So I didn't need to project as much as I usually do when I'm singing live. I lead worship at my church, and so I'm kind of belting these songs usually, but in the studio you just gotta sing how you would in your bedroom, although I sing loud in my bedroom too, you guys are wrong. And so I need to enunciate a lot more. I need to move my mouth in weird shapes. It felt really weird. I'm glad no one else was in the room because I would have looked weird. I need to be close to the mic, but not too close to it. When there was a big note coming, I had to step back instead of pulling the mic back, because usually you pull it, and I had to move my body. And so I recorded these songs over and over again, and similar to the instrumental tracks, the more you have, the more you can take, and with the vocals, you can kind of pick and choose what you wanted from each take. So if like the first half of the first take was really good, but the second half sucked, you could take like the second half from another song. It was like copy and pasting. It was really cool. And then we listened to the recordings, and I hated him. I did not like them at all. He soloed out my voice. It was just my voice. There were no instruments, and I cringed so hard. It was so bad. I'm cringing now just thinking about it. It was not good. And it was weird to hear my voice. Like, I record things on my camera. When I have song ideas, I'll record them, but I never heard them in that kind of atmosphere, in that setting. I didn't like it. And I was kind of bummed out that I didn't like it, because I had this idea in my head of what it was going to be like. It was the exact opposite. But my dad and Ray told me that things were going to be edited, things were going to be added. It wasn't just going to be my vocals, there were going to be instruments, so that kind of eased my mind a little bit. So Ray mixed the tracks the next day with my dad. Unfortunately, I couldn't make it because my car broke down, and I was stranded at my church. Bad place to be stranded. And so I didn't get to go, and they were also recording my sister's harmonies that day. So I unfortunately missed that part of the experience, but I heard a lot about it. And then I think that Saturday, we got the tracks back, and I got to listen to them with the instruments and the vocals and the harmonies, and it mixed. Mixing is kind of like making it sound better. And so my dad, we sat down and we listened to it, and I didn't like it. I didn't like what we had. I didn't like how my vocals were super bright, which means they were like super loud, and the instruments weren't that loud, and it sounded kind of hollow. I was kind of bummed out. I didn't really like what had happened. I was kind of mad. But then my dad told me to not compare myself to the people I hear on the radio, because those people spend years, like a year total, on like one song or two songs. A year on an album. It's a long process, and what I experienced was just the first half of it, which is kind of getting comfortable in the studio. I'd never been in a studio before. I don't know why I thought that I could sound like Selena Gomez. And so it eased my mind a lot more hearing that from my dad, because my dad did that for a living for a long time. He did it for a living. And I trusted him as my mentor as well. And so he kept reminding me that it was just the beginning of my journey. So I'm going to show you a part of what we have finished so far. It's not the end. I have to keep reminding myself that I'm going to keep working on this for like months to come, and it's going to sound a lot better. But for now, this is what we have.
Can you see what I've been trying to decide? It's a battle I've been fighting to find the words I wanna play. All I have is this feeling, no words for you, nothing to say. You make me feel something crazy real. It's something I can't shake. I give you my heart. Do what you will to bring it or tear it in two. I give you my world. To do what you will to bring it or tear it in two.
That was the very first verse. And I'm actually, as I'm listening to it right now, I'm happy with it. I'm really happy with it. I'm happy with how far I got in 13 hours, because that's like not a lot of time. And I'm really content with what we have right now. And I didn't think I was going to be, but all of a sudden I am, so that's a thing. Not perfect, content, how far I've gotten, and I'm going to keep working on it. So, thank you for listening.
I heard a rumor that you might be willing to play a live track. Is that possible? Live track? Let's do it. We got some time.
Okay? Guys, I'm gonna play guitar, so.
We need that.
Mr. Garcia!
So if I can remember the lyrics.
Awesome.
It's a different song, just so you know. It's not the song, it's the acoustic song. I recorded 4 songs total, and one of them we recorded live in the first studio, and we just stuck with that one. So that one we're not going to touch. We're not going to edit that one.